can get going then. All right, I think everyone knows one another. Jason couldn't make the meeting last go around, so I think Jason, the only person you haven't met yet is Lauren O'Brien. She is with Stafura Associates, our FF&E consultant.
Sounds great. Hey, Lauren.
And
Hi, good to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I hope your shoulder is all good.
I just came from physical therapy, so I'm a little sore, but other than that, it's definitely on the mend. So thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, good. We're glad to have you. All right. So I think there's a couple of things we want to jump into today. We had a pretty productive first meeting that was several weeks ago now. No, it was last month. It's really just last month. And all of this is really to get the budget in fine enough form for this group to make a recommendation to the full PBC. So we'd like to take another look at the budget. We've had, I think we've gotten pretty much everyone's equipment information. There's a couple of, loose ends. There always will be up till the last minute. But we think we're in good shape with equipment. Take a look at that. And then the other thing we wanted to discuss with this group was the fun activity known as the sit test, but also really the samples review, which is lined up for next week. So I will stop talking and turn it over to Lauren.
I'll go ahead and share.
One thing before we do that, since this is a posted meeting, we do have to approve the minutes from last time.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Tim.
So
Thanks for keeping us honest.
Readily available.
Thank you.
Have everybody reviewed the minutes?
Yep.
Okay. Go ahead. Jason, you want to just quick little motion?
I make a motion to approve the minutes from the meeting that was dated. What was the date of the meeting?
It was August 21st. Is
August
that right?
21st, 2025, as written.
Second.
Thank you.
Any questions or comments? Hearing none. Jason?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
Chrissy? It's unanimous. All right. Thanks, Tim.
Yeah, thanks for reminding us. Okay, now it's all yours, Lauren.
Great. All right. So is everyone able to see my screen? Okay. All right. So based on our last meeting that we had, I'm not going to, go through everything step by step. I'll just go to kind of the areas that have changed. We had kind of a good in-depth review of everything the last time, with just some areas that were outstanding, mostly being related to equipment. So we are at a subtotal for the furniture at 2.559. And with our updates to the final equipment lists that we have, barring just a couple outstanding items with the main gym and the fitness studio, mostly just asking them to approve some alternates that have been presented and gone through. That brings our total for equipment to 2.182. And the total for the furniture and equipment to be 4.741. We did increase the contingency per our discussion last time to 10%. So we're seeing that at 474, bringing our grand total to 5.215. We did also just want to discuss, we called out the cost savings and we provided this group with the equipment spreadsheet so that you could take a look at some of those items that folks had flagged as not as high of a priority. And if we were to purchase those things that are only rated priority 1 or that did not receive a rating, we would have a savings about $312,000. Bringing us down to 4.429 with a 10% contingency, giving us the overall at 4.872, and bringing down that overall cost per student. no major changes to district offices, but they are just below the line. So I just want to make sure we're kind of keeping that number in mind as well. That total cost with the 10% contingency is the 182 number. So those will also be part of the package that we put out there to procure. So I just wanted to make sure that was on everyone's radar as well.
Helen, could you remind me what our budget numbers were?
Yeah, the original budget, and this was not inclusive of the district offices, was the 2.5 million. So we are, of course, in the neighborhood with contingency of double that.
Was it budgeted by a per student value, or what? What is
Yes.
when the budget was created?
Yes, correct. So the MSBA will participate in up to $1,200 a student. With Field's help and with our experience, we knew that number was not going to cover it. So back, how many years ago now? 3 years ago, we had targeted a number of $2,500 a student. And then, of course, now with reality and with actual equipment lists, we're looking at the 5 million number, or $5,000 dollars per student number.
I know it's not.
What, can we talk about the 312,000 of the equipment?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
So what we did with that is we asked folks preemptively to rate things that they thought could be a lesser priority, more of a want rather than a need. If you did take a look at the Excel sheets, you might notice that some folks didn't put anything as a rating system. So there is this, possibility of maybe even, seeing that further, but the 312 would be if we only purchased or only, put out to bid the items that were rated as priority 1 or did not receive a rating. So anything that was 2 or higher would not be put out to purchase. So we would end up getting those potential savings with that strategy.
And were there any big ticket items in that 312?
There were a few, so for example, this item was 38,000 at a 2.
So that item, just because you highlighted that one, that was provided as an alternative to a more expensive machine.
Mhm.
We will need something.
Yep.
There. Okay. I just want that just panicked me a little
Absolutely.
bit.
Yeah, to be fair to especially Tim, who when we had asked for prioritization, did go back and revised his list. And I think what this subcommittee is very interested in, at least as I've heard, and you speak for yourselves, but they want to make sure the building is properly equipped
Yeah.
and not cutting so bare to the bones such that when the school opens, questions are asked. This is a brand new school. Why didn't we do X, Y, or Z? Because we had the capacity to do so. So thank you to Tim O'Brien, who did, in fact.
I know
go
that you
back.
actually took the time to rate it, because not everyone did, Tim.
No, I just want to make, because there's going to be a ton of concrete here, and we need to be able to manage it when the snow falls. So just that's all.
It just so happened your list came up.
I know, it was the first thing that was there.
So I will say there was discussion with Amy and Doug. There was a request made for a Steinway baby grand piano, which was would have been about 10% of the overall budget. However, Stafura has worked with a company that sources, I would say, refurbished Steinways, is that correct, Lauren? And in
Correct. Yeah.
bringing that back to Amy and the school, they were fine with that, which obviously cut that number down. So anything, that was the one number that absolutely made our eyeballs pop.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I think that there's nothing outrageous that we haven't seen on
Yeah.
other school projects that's been put
Agreed
on
with
these
that,
lists.
Helen. I mean, it's more, Joe, that they kind of have many things that are adding up to that number. It's not as though anyone said, okay, I can live without a $100,000 item to get us there. You know, it's more kind of taking all of these 2s and 3s that are, you know, most of them are under $3,000, and that's adding up to kind of a net cost of something.
Quick question, because I missed the last meeting and maybe some of this was discussed, but isn't there a lot of this existing equipment in the high school already that can come over to the new high school?
We did ask that question of all, basically when we have these conversations with everyone, and when we had all those meetings, we had, you know, like 23 meetings over the course of a few days. That's always something that we ask and encourage folks to do, because really, when you get into the building, the students need chairs and desks, and there's lots of times operating budgets that might support some of that equipment having been purchased over the past few years. So what we always do is ask people to take a look and see if there's anything left that still has good usable life. What our understanding was is these lists were generated based on taking those things into consideration, bringing things over that didn't meet kind of the continuous use life, and then these items were added on top of that. So it's definitely something we always talk about and encourage. And I think Amy and her team worked to push that as well.
Yeah, I mean, as long as everybody's comfortable with that, I mean, I guess we're taking it on faith that they're not just saying, hey, this is a great opportunity to get all new band equipment,
Yeah.
even though
And
the
in-
stuff we
yeah.
have is only 5 years old.
Right. And in
old.
fairness to Tom Bankerts and his group, you see he actually did prioritize many of these
Yes.
items.
Okay.
Yes.
I think one of the other things to consider as well is we in the existing space, we don't really have like a large performance space or anything of that nature.
Right.
So a lot of this is new to the program.
Okay, fair
Right.
enough.
That's fair.
Thanks, Tim.
Yep.
So when you're looking at these lists, where like Bankert has 1, 2, and 3s,
Mhm.
3 is the least. Is that right?
5 is the least.
Pardon?
5 is the least, so they could
Oh, okay.
go.
I didn't see any
5.
5s. Okay, now I see 'em.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't think there's many on there, but there's a couple 4s. So I do think that they really went back and thought about, you know, what they really did need and what they didn't.
Okay. I guess if it all fits within the budget, that's great. You know, if it doesn't fit within the budget, then we're gonna have to figure out which of the 5s and 4s don't make it, right?
Well,
Yeah.
Well, the other thing
doesn't
is
fit
that
within the
we've-
budget, Jason,
Well,
because
there we go then.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
it
know,
doesn't fit with our old budget of, you know, 2.5.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Do we
and
have
I think
an
what we did
understanding?
see when we kind of took a look at everything, and this was part of our discussion that we had last time, Jason, was a lot of the significant change to the budget, as you can see, is really coming from this massive scope of equipment that's part of
Yeah.
kind of what we looked at. So we just are seeing more and more on these high school projects that we're working on, that the equipment needs are much more substantial than what they had been previously. And we're working, I know this doesn't help us at this moment in time, but we're working to kind of better match that. But the schools just have so many different programs that they're trying to support, that the equipment needs have really grown over the past 5 years.
So, Lauren, I would add to that. Sorry, I was off camera. I'm trying to cook dinner and drive carpools and do this all at the same time. So I'm sorry, I'm bouncing around. So hi, everybody.
Hey.
I've been listening.
Hey, Amy.
I would add to what has been said, Lauren, that last point is really super important. I think we need to think about the increase in this being around the engineering programs, the fab labs, the the expanded music spaces that Tim is talking about. I think Jason was saying the question about what can we bring over, and Jason, I think we've asked folks, right, anything we can bring over that is usable and won't need to be replaced within a few years, we should be bringing with us.
Yep.
Sadly, that is not much.
Okay.
Because I mean, the state of the building is, you know, we have been, at least this is year 8, we have been duct taping and, you know, using chewing gum and MacGyvering things for quite some time. And Tim O'Brien is really good at that and helping us get through with what we have. But some of this equipment just doesn't exist and it will expand our programs. Now, if we're over budget and that's something that the committee wants us to look at, we certainly can do that. And I'm happy to go back through those lists another time with folks. But I just think it's a question of, you know, how much over budget are we? What are you looking for us to cut back? And we can try to do that. And the 1s, 2s, and 3s, I'll just say it from my end of it, you know, some people took that very seriously. Some people were like, nope, we're still shooting for the moon.
Yeah.
So again, I'm happy to, if we need to look through those lists, we can do that.
We have to be aware that obviously we're going to be taking the excess of our original budget of 2.5 out of our contingencies.
Yeah,
So-
that's kind of a good segue for my question here. So I'm pulling up kind of the overall project budget. So I see that we had furnishings were 2.5 million. Then we have 1.8 for technology equipment. Have we defined that scope at all?
That is in process and that follows a little behind FF&E.
Right.
I will say based on what we know now, although again, it's very much evolving and we will come back to this group with more detail. That one is hewing pretty close to that number, Chrissy. It's, you know, at the last check, it was maybe 38K over, which is not nothing, but it's not of the scale that we are talking about with FF&E.
Okay, and then just kind of trying to understand, again, this is my first school project, how the MSP, you know, kind of works and what we're allowed to do with kind of creative problem solution for, you know, being able to accommodate this overrun. Are we able to pull? So we have 2.5 or like 2 million in the owner's contingency, and then we have 11 million in the construction contingency. What
Right.
are the guardrails for using each of those buckets?
There are contingencies. The owner's contingency of the 11 million is ours. So
Okay,
essentially, there is no great guardrail.
okay, so we don't have to spend it on like hard costs only, construction related. We are able to use that on these furnishings if need be.
Right.
Okay. That is helpful. Another helpful.
Am I correct in that, Helen? Just to make
You
sure?
are correct.
That's
Yes,
right.
yes.
Okay.
You spoke
that's
with
what it
great
was
authority,
before.
Joe, so
The
yes.
PVC meeting for the new high school. For
So,
F&E.
yeah, I mean, we have the soft cost
Do we have
contingency
to
from
assess?
around 2 million, and then we have the owner's contingency. The soft cost, even though it's defined as soft cost, I mean, I think Lynn indicated it's kind of fluid as well, but this more than likely would come out of the owner's contingency, I would think.
And then my other question too is, do we have some sort of summary that kind of rolls up priorities 1, 2, 3, 4, 5?
Yeah, that's what I was asking. I was thinking of that too.
Yeah, because if there's a way that we can kind of like approve the primary scope, and then we still have some of these like add alternates that we can add on to as the project progresses, because I think we'd all love
Yeah.
to be of this
Right, is that 300,000 all fives? Is that?
No,
No,
Is that what
anything.
the
it's
one?
anything besides a 1
One,
or
right,
right.
or something that did not receive a rating. So
So
if we
then to
didn't,
Tim's point earlier, he had said, you know, one of his items is like a higher end model of something. So it's not really
yeah,
it's
why
not a
would you
full
consider
reduction
the
of that
2, Tim?
cost.
I had provided the original piece of equipment was a side-by-side like UTV. And then
Okay,
I think that was kind of, this machine was an add alternate.
Okay.
Oh,
I don't know, did I put it, I'm looking, I may have,
but you need it.
I need it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
there's
Yeah,
no,
okay.
no
The
two
other one
ways
off?
about it.
change it to a 1
It
because
should be a 1.
yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
and that price, right? Just saying, I have one of these machines. It cost us 18,000.
I know this is the thing when we get into this is that what this does is makes it so that items are not just dropped off at the school.
Okay.
So what this difference in cost is related to is the service that is provided to have a team come and bring things to site and unbox it and make sure all the parts are there and make sure that it's
Okay.
working properly. It's something like I always almost hate to give the costs to things because you start going on Amazon or looking at
Right.
it somewhere else. Like the reason that this number is higher is because a company will basically price all of this for us. You know, there's 15 different lead times for every product that's on here. They coordinate ordering all of that so that it's not all coming at random times and showing up to the school at different times. They bring it
Understood.
up one truck, unbox it, put it there. So I know that that number is different than what you would see, and it's really escalated to account for that. It doesn't mean it's going to be that high, but it allows us to kind of put that service cost in the estimate that we're providing.
And
Understood.
to be clear, because this was alleged at some other meeting, it's not Stafura getting a cut of,
Yeah, I know.
of furnishings that sometimes
I would love that. I mean,
or equipment. This
but
is
that's not how
yeah.
we operate. No.
Thank you. Yeah, I
Thank
just
you.
wanted to make that clear because it came up in another meeting. So
Yeah, no,
Um,
it's really so that you all get the service that it's basically so that a FedEx guy or a random truck doesn't pull up and they scribble a signature and then we don't know where everything for the
Sure.
science labs has gone, which we've gone through, and it's a really big headache and it ends up costing the school more money usually just in terms of like our time and then sometimes having to reorder. So it's kind of a service cost really when we see that difference.
Gotcha.
I
So-
have another
yeah,
general
yeah.
question. So now that we know, I guess, the original budget, is there a document that kind of summarizes what was included in that original budget, where that $2,500 per student came up, was derived from versus what's been added to the scope of the project?
We do have that, so we could definitely share that as well, because we did that exercise to kind of show why we're seeing this change. So absolutely, we can share that after this.
Okay.
Because I'll
I
just
think
make
that would
sure.
be
Okay.
necessary for us to really understand the budget and, approve this additional cost and, the use of contingency.
Yeah, and then I did want to sorry, I forgot that, Chrissy, you had asked about, can we move forward with the priority 1 numbers and then go to priority 2 or 3? What we usually recommend in that case is getting the price for all of it. So putting it all as part of the bid package, and we know then what is priorities, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we can say, okay, we actually came in better than we thought. So we're good to approve all of those items, or things are higher than we expected. Let's go ahead and pull off items 2 for 3, but we already have the numbers. And so we don't have to go back out again and ask for everything back, because if we break it up, it means a second bid process, which means like putting the advert out again, waiting the 2 weeks. So then it kind of eats into our time frame in terms of trying to get everything on track. So what we usually recommend is just getting the prices for all, and then our team looking at priorities 1 through 5 and making those recommendations to you all as needed.
Would you go out to bid? Would you have like add alternates though?
We don't usually say it as an alternate. We ask them just to price it all, because the way that our general conditions are written is essentially saying that the school and town can make modifications to what they're awarding and how much based on the discretion that's at the biggest interest of the school and also of the town.
So when the bid comes in, we can delete things?
Yes.
Okay, that's unusual because usually we have like the add alternate type of scenario.
I mean, we can absolutely write it that way if it's preferred, but we basically, the way the general conditions are written is so that we can make modifications without having to kind of tweak things in a more complicated way.
I think I don't know, Chris, if you asked or whatever, is there like a summary? Here's the cost of all the 1s, all the 2s, the 3s. Do we?
We can certainly do that if needed.
I think it's the one, if you go down to the bottom here, Lauren,
Yeah.
I think the
Right,
one.
okay, I didn't.
it's
Yeah,
a grand total. Because you'll see every single item is here.
Yeah.
So we're up to line, what, 700 and
Yeah.
something.
the sheet or can you share the PDF?
Oh, sorry. Yes, you're
Yeah.
right. Okay.
So I think this 312, yeah, is
Oh, there's
everything.
a number, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's with the priority one and not rated only, but you could see as I was like scrolling through, like there's some folks who this is like completely blank. So
Right.
it's not noted as a priority, so we just made the assumption that it was a priority one. So again, that could be that Amy is going back to the team and saying, okay, we actually need to prioritize everything because this is playing a role in how, you know, the bid is going out and how pricing is received. But we basically just said, you know, for this number, let's assume if it wasn't rated, it was a 1.
In other projects that you've had, Lauren, have you had made them do that? Do the 1s, 2, 3s?
Yeah, but it tends
5?
to look just like this looks. Half of them do it, half of them don't. It's a lot of 1s. And then what sometimes they'll do is even after the pricing comes back, go back to them and say like, no, really, we need you to prioritize 1 through 3, and then we can pull off what is needed. Or sometimes they'll just say, your limit is $50,000, and so here's the pricing. Pick and choose what you want. So they, depending on the school or district, it can operate in various ways.
So Helen, just remind me of these numbers here. With the 312,000, the total amount is 5.215, is that right?
Including the 300,000. Yeah, that 312 number, that's the 5215 at
Yeah, I'm sorry.
5215 per
It's-
student.
Yeah,
It's really small.
you might have to blow it up.
For my old
I'll
eyes.
zoom in a little.
I'm with you, Joe. I'm with you.
Yeah. I know
I
it's
had
always
written it
hard on
down,
the
that's
shared
why.
screen. Yeah, so this
Yeah.
number includes the increase to the 10% contingency, which we talked about last
Right.
time. And then it does include all items for the equipment. So that 312 number is captured in here.
And then Joe, I am without Lynn here, and I don't know if Tim Baker can comment on this with respect to the below the line, you know, central offices furnishings. That is not, you know, sort of was not part of the 2.5 million, right? Because again, it wasn't serving the students, but
Right.
The-
So that's-
But the 5.215 is with central office?
It is
no,
not.
No, we can
is
only
not.
really want to compare the school's FF&E to, you know, from when budgeted to the present.
So the 182 is in addition to the 5.2?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
what is, so the central office is this, the 165?
The central office is, yeah, that's the 165 with this 10% contingency brings it to 182.
Right.
Sorry,
And
what is that scope again? What is
That scope
That
is
space,
basically
okay.
all of the central offices, so the superintendent, assistant, business admin offices, all basically everything that's central that's not, but it's connected to the school, and it would be furnished as part of this package.
And there is
And-
nothing for WCAT in
Yeah.
here, by the way, just wanted to make that clear.
Right.
So that's a question I think for Lynn, Joe, in terms of where that was plugged into the overall budget.
Oh, whether that was part of the 2.5?
Central offices. Well, no, I know it wasn't part of, because MSBA doesn't want to, it's not going to
Oh, okay.
participate in
Yeah.
that.
That's why it's
Oh, so
below
we
the
don't know
line,
that-
'cause it's not part of the
Well-
MSBA project technically.
So off of top of, we don't know what was budgeted for the central office.
No, we'll have to, I maybe check in with Lynn on that.
So I'll check with her, but I'm pretty sure it was not included in the original budget.
Well, it's been included in the original budget, but not in the 2.5.
Right.
Correct.
Correct.
There would be
yeah.
another line somewhere that Lynn had.
Correct. Correct.
Oops, sorry, I'm gonna have to just,
So all in, overall, we're at 2.8 over the budget. 2.882 or something like that. So I think the question is, are we comfortable with funding that from contingency at this point? I think some of the questions I have too are related to how much time do we have to make that decision? And some of these releases, it'd be good to know what next steps are so that it, you know, right now we have these really healthy contingencies, but we're also, you know, at a certain percentage in. I think we all want to be able to find a way to make all these procurements happen and get the programs what they need. I think that's like the primary goal of this whole project, right? So I just don't know if it's too early to say yes to that, Joe, you know?
I know, that's a problem.
Yeah, it's a healthy chunk of change out of the contingency. So how about you guys answer the question as to like what next steps are and when?
Yeah,
we-
what's the schedule? What are
The
we,
schedule.
yeah, looking at, Helen?
Yeah, so this is the furniture like timeline and schedule. So basically, we have the sit test happening not next week. Oh yeah,
It
next
is
week.
next week.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is actually it because we moved it up. And then we were targeting the meeting of the permanent building committee on the 16th for the recommendation for approval for the budget. That would put us on track to have furniture finishes reviewed in November, and then our team would be documenting into December. And basically the package would be going out in mid-December for pricing, with purchase orders being issued in the beginning of the year next year, to allow ample production time for all of the furniture and equipment pieces.
For some reason, I thought we were on for November, not October for the full committee. When is the schedule next week? I don't think I've seen that.
Well, we were going to discuss that
Yeah.
in this meeting,
Oh.
which is the samples are,
Well,
I
I
think,
didn't see it.
yeah, the samples are being, furniture samples are being delivered, I think, tomorrow and then this week, like the latter part of
Thursday,
this
Friday.
week.
Yep.
And we are targeting a day that Stafura is available to come and be present, answer questions about the furniture samples. And that date is next Wednesday, is that the 8th?
Yeah.
The 8th, with a window of like right after school so that the teachers can be there, but extended out so that perhaps this committee and others from the PBC who might be interested could come and see the pieces along with being able to have Stafura there to answer questions. But the furniture is going to be there for 2 weeks. Is that right, Lauren?
The furniture basically will be there for a week and a half. It'll
Okay.
I'll be there Monday morning the 6th to set everything up and place labels on everything that has QR codes to link to a feedback survey for faculty, staff, students then can come in. And then, like we said, the building committee can also come in and check things out. And then we have basically the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, my team will be there in the afternoon so that folks can come in and ask questions or just give feedback to us in general. And then the pickup won't happen until Monday, Tuesday of the following week. So it's basically there for about a week and a half so that if folks can't make, certain times work, they have time to come in and provide their feedback.
How late in the day are you going to be there? I'm
So-
only thinking because the building committee.
Yeah, we were planning to stay there till at least 5:30, and if just because knowing that these meetings usually happen starting at 5, but we can extend that out to a little if needed, because we know that it's something that the building committee really wants to do is see these furniture pieces. So we'll definitely make ourselves available depending on the timing.
Yeah, we may have to do that.
Okay.
So we're still looking at that Wednesday. Is that right? Amy, Lauren, okay.
That's Wednesday. Can you just, hold on 1 second. Wednesday, what's the date on that?
The
The
8th. 8th.
Yeah.
I don't know how people work from home. Sorry. It's very distracting for me. Right. And so Tim is, you're all set, Tim, with the deliveries coming, and we're going to use the conference room. And so we'll have that open to teachers and students all day. Closes after school, except for the 8th, in which we're going to keep the building open until you're saying What time-ish? You guys will be there.
I would ask
5:30.
what time you all could be there until,
Yeah,
I mean,
or what time you're thinking it would work for
yeah.
building
other
committee
members.
members to be there.
Well, I'll have to find out. This is the first we've heard of the date. I don't know what everybody's schedule is.
Okay.
no, sorry.
Some of us are semi-retired. Many of us are not.
I'll be at the outdoor classroom chaperoning.
So I think we should, Tim
Yep.
Baker,
Oh,
you should send around and find out how late we need to keep it open for Wednesday, the 8th.
Yep.
For members of the committee to, if they wish to, view the products, all right?
Jill,
Yep.
just so you know, we during the week we're open 24 hours a day. Anytime you all need to get in there.
Yeah.
So
All right, we'll see you at 2 in the morning then.
that would be fun. Honest to God, that would be fun.
Because I could.
Listen,
If you're having trouble sleeping, Joe,
I was
we
gonna
can
say he's got a baby. He's wide awake. He's right down the street. Just knock on his door.
Yeah.
You're right there.
I'm up too, you know.
Me
so
too, Joe.
I'm
Give me
still
a buzz.
going.
Yeah.
So our team will not be there 24 hours a day. So we have a
Right.
window in the Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah, that's what I wanted. That's what I was trying to do, Lauren, not to make, not like Tim saying.
I know, Joe, that's
24/7.
totally fine.
I
was
just
trying
want to
to
make
be
sure we
considerate of
accommodate you.
Tim
fine
is
folks.
not. I just want to
Yeah.
make that point.
But definitely if there's PBC members that can't make it during the time we're there, everything will be there. I'll basically have it like I plan to get there first thing in the morning on Monday. And Tim O'Brien, you don't need to like set everything up. You just have them put it in the room and then I come in and rearrange everything anyway. So don't worry about any of that. But then there will be labels on everything that say like where the piece is intended to be used. And there's a QR code right on there. So they can come in if they're not able to attend when I'm actually there.
And I just want to say the only vendor that I've heard from is the Smith System. Sean Collins is the first and only to reach out so far. And that was
Okay,
just
so I'll have Kylie send you this tracking schedule so that you just have an idea of when folks are supposed to be there. We were just kind of waiting for a few more of them to get their stuff together.
And
So
Amy,
good.
excuse my ignorance, but it's been a while since my kids were there at the high school. Where's the conference room you're referring to?
It's just going to be in the main office where sometimes
Okay.
you might have met there before. So Lauren,
Yep.
the other question that I was going to ask is on Wednesday, I actually have an ILT meeting, which is all the department leaders. What time will you guys be there on Wednesday? If you are coming on Wednesday, I know Joe needs to check everybody's schedules, but if it turns out to be Wednesday, that would be fantastic for our school leaders to kind of have a conversation with you and any teachers who wanted to come.
Totally. Yeah. So we're going to plan to get there at 2:30. And so from that time on, we'll basically be available for folks to come in. We usually even get there a little bit early to get set up.
Awesome.
We'll also note that we're planning to bring just kind of like a smattering of finishes, just to get some kind of initial feedback on just feelings of things as well. So just keep that in mind too. It will be kind of high level and just kind of say, with different patterns and things like that, so that you can also give us some feedback there.
That's fantastic. Thank you.
So I'm wondering if we should just plan on posting this, right? Because you're assuming there would be a preponderance of PBC members hopefully showing up that day. And again, it doesn't
Well,
have
no,
to be that
only
day.
if they show up at the same time.
Right, right.
Yeah, Joe, do you want us to all be there together? Is that the goal, that we're all there for the same?
Well,
At the same time.
it's gonna be hard for people. That's
Yeah.
the problem.
It might be
right?
I'm
hard.
not going to be around the evening of the 8th, so my preference would be to go on Monday or Tuesday, probably in the afternoon or during the day.
Yeah, I think it might be one that we can just make it somewhat informal rather than
Okay.
a formal gathering.
That's great. Yeah,
And if,
and then just
and if three of us happen to run into one another, well, here I go again.
okay. So
We could be
just make
I mean, I hadn't thought about it, but Thursday, I hope, people are gonna be around for the walkthrough too. We can have some discussion about that as well.
yeah.
That's
At working
outside
group.
the limits of the statute.
Gotcha. You meet at the working group on Thursday, Joe, to talk about.
Yeah.
making this available. Yeah, I think if we just, kind of say, hey, listen, and I don't know, Amy and Tim, just let us know if you want to be notified ahead of time if people want to come by and view furniture. Just let's be clear about what the process is. But again, if you want to speak to a real human that has some knowledge of the pieces, then aiming for that Wednesday afternoon would be ideal.
And if we do find, based on the kind of survey you take to see who is available, if there is a general time that multiple people will be there on Wednesday, if we can just get the heads up, because I just want to, we have kind of right now for the kind of faculty staff side of things, like a 2:30 to 4:30 time frame, and I don't want us to, get to like 5 o'clock, say, and no one's shown up, and so we think, oh, okay, no one's coming, but then someone shows up at 5:30 or something like that. So
No, we're gonna know, Lauren, if you're gonna, you may have to be there till 6. I don't, because of some people get to travel lovely
as
120.
long as we know, that's totally fine. I just want to make sure that I don't miss anybody because of general timing. So thank you.
All right.
Helen, to answer your question, it would be helpful to know if there are times that we're going to have it open for folks after school. So the office
Yep.
usually closes by, folks are out of there by 3:15, 3:30. So the doors are locked after that. But if there is a time that we're having people come in, that as long as Tim and I know, we can arrange that with the custodians to make sure that we're letting people in, or we'll figure it out. Or we could even have someone come from central office to come over and monitor, because Tim, you guys, your folks over there work later, correct?
Correct. We're usually there till 4:30 at least.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we
So
may have
arrangements
to,
can be
we may
made.
have to have somebody there available to get in.
Yeah,
Sure.
absolutely. Whatever you need, we're here for you. PBC is always welcome.
I'm
All right. So back to the
gonna write
schedule.
that down, Tim.
You can quote me all day long, Joe. I mean it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think though, one of the things Lauren, you were gonna provide us with some more information.
Yeah.
Right.
Like a summary.
Yeah, so that summary. I know that I had provided one before that was like a magnitude, like a budget of magnitude that showed kind of the differences between spaces and things like that. Like it wasn't saying like, okay, this space had 12 chairs and now it has 20. So I guess my question is, how do we want the one, because we have both, but I think before I gave kind of the budget of magnitude that shows the differences between schematic design and where we are now, but do we need one that is kind of the, this had 12 chairs and now it has 20 type of thing as well?
I don't know, what do people think?
I think the most information, I think we need like all
More.
to, I guess, to approve this,
makes
budget and the increase, it really should be all the details and everything
Yeah.
that's changed, really.
Yeah, and I really think, I'm thinking now that we may need to meet again prior to the 16th. I don't know how everybody else feels. I feel a little.
We
I
might
don't
have a
think-
lot of questions from the
Yeah.
other PBC members, Joe. You think this is just a topic to talk in more
Oh,
detail?
I think we're gonna have a lot of questions
meeting?
because, let's be
Yeah.
honest, we have been very frugal with
It's a
our
big one. Mhm.
contingency, and it's gonna cause some people's ire to get set off here. I don't know. So I think we really should. I don't know what everybody else feels, but I think we probably should get this other information and have one more meeting prior to making a vote on a recommendation to the full committee. Or are we all set? I mean, what does everybody think?
I agree. I think we just need a little bit more information, a little bit more time to discuss
Okay.
overall impact of the project. Identify any additional unknowns, that we
Okay.
see could be keeping our eye on.
All right, because I think, has this time work like in 2 Tuesdays from now? We'll have a chance to look at this stuff. We'll have a chance to look at any new information and do another 5 o'clock on Tuesday. Is that viable, or how?
14th?
That's 2 days before the PBC meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
14th works.
All right, Aaron, Chrissy, does it work for
It
you
works
guys?
for me.
Otherwise?
Mhm.
All I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
That works for me.
Okay.
Yep. All right.
All right, let's do that. Let's reschedule it for the 14th at 5 again. We'll take a look at the new information. We're gonna go look at the products.
Yep.
And then on the 14th, we'll make a recommendation to the full committee. How's that? Okay?
Sounds like a plan. And then just to reiterate something I know Lauren brought up at the last meeting is the samples that are being brought in currently or that you'll be viewing next week. All of them fit within the budget. There's not a choosing of specific pieces that will move the dial in any substantial way. So just know when you're going in to look at these things that you don't have to worry about. You have to worry about the budget, but not have to worry about the budget with respect to expressing opinions about various things.
Correct.
And these are the same products or the equivalent of products that we would be receiving, right?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Okay.
And are there any specific things, Lauren, that you're going to be asking for sort of votes on?
No, so basically every single piece, when you pull up the Google form, has a rating of like 1 star, 2 stars, or 3 stars, from not preferred to highly preferred to no preference. And then there's the opportunity to write additional comments below, so that if you did, say like, this feels, too tight, or it's too generous, or it's too soft, you can go ahead and give us that information as well. There's a few pieces that, they're kind of the only option of what we're showing. So they'll just have kind of an additional comments section. But really that's only a couple things like the lectern and like 1 or 2 other pieces. But most of them you'll be able to kind of look at together and say, I prefer this one over that one. Everything will be arranged kind of based on space that it's intended for. So kind of classroom furniture will all be together, media center furniture all together. So then you can kind of see how pieces are kind of working and jiving together as well. And then when we're there, you can tell us, your honest thoughts. We're not going to be offended. We wouldn't be doing this. Helen knows if we were easily offended. So we want your honest feedback because it's going to be in this school for a long time. So we want to make sure that it works for everyone that's going to be using it.
Lauren, and my last question on that, just to clarify, there will be a difference, right, for to fill out the preferences. There'll be a space for it to indicate if you're a student or not.
Yes, so that's one of the first questions.
Great,
Yep.
thank you.
It tells us, you basically ask like faculty, staff, grade level, so then we kind of know who's
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because we know that sometimes what the students like might not work for what you guys want them to have, so.
Yeah, and there's a lot of ways that we can look at that data. So I think it's important to know the difference between preferences, and yeah, so thank you.
We completely agree. So we'll definitely have that. And then, after this, we'll all get together and say like, here's where everything landed, here were the preferences. So then if there is something that you're like, we don't like that, or we thought that this was going to be great for students, but they absolutely hated it, so let's go with that preference, you can kind of see all of that. And it's important to just remind folks as they're going through that it's based on consensus. It's not that because you are a person who liked this one piece, you're going to get that one piece. It's the majority moving forward, so that Tim's life is easy if and when 10 years down the line he has to reorder a chair or something, that it's not 7 different types of chairs for one space.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
He's going to be deep in retirement by then.
26 years I have.
Yeah.
He's not counting.
The furniture will be there.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. So is it Tim Baker that's gonna help define the time frame for PBC members?
Right.
Or Joe, were you
Tim's going to
to-
send an email for
Okay.
for that, but we'll also get a gist of it Thursday afternoon as well, probably.
Okay, great. Okay.
Yep.
Great. Thanks, everybody,
Thank you,
All
everyone.
right.
For helping.
All right, so move
Probably
to
sending
adjourn and
Helen all
that.
that stuff for her to disperse to everyone as well. Those kind of remaining items that we need. I'll send the magnitude again, just so that you have the overarching view, and then you can kind of see things in the
Great.
nitty-gritty as well.
Thank you. Thanks, Lauren. Thanks,
Thanks,
everybody.
You all.
Thank you.
Thank
Take care.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All
It's
right,
gonna
have a
be
good night.
Thursday at 4.
Mhm.
All right, great. Bye-bye.